Good afternoon. My name is Keith Peterson. I'm one of the principals of the Cardinal Flyers, and I thought it was about time that I take you flying a little bit in my Cardinal. Now, my route of flight, what I'm going to do is go to FMS mode. I think I'll delete this one. I'm going to go to DKB. Already knows what it is. Enter. I'm going to come up here and say procedure. Do ILS 2 by Vector's Tugby. So now I can show on my map down here. It's going to show me the whole procedure, which is out to Tugby, Janu, DKB. Interestingly, it already shows on the ARA, and I'll be able to show it here as well. Okay, I'm getting down here pretty close to Tugby. I'm going to activate the approach here. This builds me a plan here. I go GPS to VLOC. Over here I switch to GPS steering. This will now take over my my route. Picks it up and it turns me to course. As you can see, it's got me set up for a nice curve onto the final approach course. You can see it here too as well. On the ARA, it shows it. It's a pretty tight turn at the end here. We'll see how it does with that. And I'm still in heading mode on the autopilot because GPS steering drives heading. So once we get close, I'll switch over to a heading nav capture and it'll pick up the nav. I'm also in altitude hold mode here. So it should auto sequence, once I get established on the final approach course, it should auto sequence to a glide slope capture mode. You see I've gone down about 200 feet here, just because there are a few little tendrils of cloud that were starting to come down. I didn't want to get too close to that. I'm still at full cruise power here, of course, being a Cardinal RG. I'm cruising at indicated of about 145 knots, just into the bottom of the yellow, and burning, well, we can see it a couple places. We can pick it up here, 10.6 gallons per hour currently, 10.3. Like it's going back and forth, which is a little bit interesting. It's the right screen. We can actually watch ourselves on the chart here also. So we're currently on the chart, so I'll go ahead and leave that mode up because I think the sequencing is probably not that interesting. And we can run data along the side here if we'd like to see how we're doing bearing distance, times, speeds, things like that. Also, you notice that the VOR, the ILS frequency has already auto switched at both places. So I've got an indication here now on my primary and my backup. And I'm in GPS VLOC mode, so I'm going to be flying GPS steer until I intercept the VLOC, Localizer vertical. We'll have this showing on the Aspen here, Tugby 264 4.8. The time is here, it shows in small print right about here. And let's see, I have GPS 1 showing on one needle and VOR 1 showing on the next, so that should be pointing off to the airport. Well, maybe not actually. So we're coming up on our turn. Watch my raw data down here. I'm going to start pulling a little bit of power here. Slow this down. course, the altitude hold is holding my altitude. Auto trim is adjusting the trim to help that. Next leg now, 023, now, says. So it's making a turn. Continue to slow down just a little more. You can see the trim working. My needle's alive here. Localizer needles alive. So I'm switching over to nav mode here. And this autopilot will do a 3-stage capture. There's a hard capture, a normal capture, and then a soft capture. 95 knots. It's just now in approach mode. 10 seconds, it should arm glide slope. So I'm in soft capture now. This tells me I'm in VLOC mode now. My glide slope is now armed after 10 seconds established. Okay, so I have a little, I think my next to here is Jinyo. I'll be there in 2 minutes, 4 miles. I'm at 95 knots. I'm just going to do this as a low pass. Got the decal punched up here. I can swap that in so I'm talking to the right frequency here. Okay, so let's double check. We're on the course, we're on the approach plate. We can zoom in a little bit on that. We're armed for glide slope. We're holding altitude currently. Glide slope is not yet alive. We're at a little over 100 knots. I'll leave it up there for now. I'll be slowing down, taking some power out once we get on the glide slope. Our destination of DeKalb is 8 miles, 7.8 miles away. DeKalb traffic, Cardinal 177 Kilo Pop. We're about 7.5 miles south on the ILS-2 low approach, DeKalb.
Juliet traffic, short of 8626 knots, short final runway 27, Juliet.
So my displays are showing my localizer here on the Aspen now. And my glide slope is depicting but not yet alive. So I'm not showing any indications. I've got a little diamond off the top there. And I can see on my raw data needle here that I'm not there yet. Also, you can see the wind correction angle that we're holding here. I didn't have to go all the way out to Tugby. I'm realizing now I could have joined between Tugby and Jinyo. Something to learn for next time. So I was interested to hear what music is randomly selected. We're into Peter Gabriel now, obscure deep track. making 137 knots. Airspeed here. Our ground speed is 100. No, that's our target. Sorry. Our true airspeed is 112 knots. Our ground speed is 118. So we're showing a wind at 274 and 28 knots, 29 knots. So you can start to see the runway coming up there. Needle's alive. We're captured. We're headed downhill. That's why the speed went up. So I need to pull power here a little bit. Going to do a notch of flaps too while we're still under 130 knots. So I'm going to tweak the camera just a little, let you see the runway coming up here, I think. Should be in the upper right hand corner there. Maybe just farm field still, but you'll see it come by. So you see we're holding line slope, perfect. Look at that. This thing knows how to fly. And decal traffic, Cardinal 7 kilo pop, short final 2. On the ILS, we'll be doing the low pass decal. My alarm is beeping at me that the gear isn't down.
500.
And you see my missed approach path is already depicted on here as well. So on a bumpy day, with currently a 26 knot crosswind, still on localizer, still on glide slope. I'll move up to see the runway a little bit better. We're 20 feet left of center line. There's minimums right there, nailed it. And decal, 7 kilo pop, going around on 2. So it also gives me the altitudes here. It says crosswards at or above 2100. Then missed approach point. I'll have to look at the chart for that, but it's 1430. I happen to know that. So this is what it did with a 90-degree cross of the approach course. I was on the approach course when I finally got the approach set up. Okay, so it's taking me back on course. I'm manually running the altitude at this point because this is a not coded in here. It's just a VOR-A, so I have to do the altitude manually. Although I'll still latch it in certain spots here. So I go to 2100 towards. Not much to see in the window, so I'll go back to the panel. Pull the speed down. Get back to Castillo Unicom frequency. Waiting for Wart's intersection. So I've got my approach lined up here. Coming up on Wart's intersection. 0.3 miles it says. I've got the altimeter, or the autopilot program for my descent to my final approach altitude. Okay, I'm there at my vertical speed. It'll take me down to 400 feet per minute. I can watch that roll up here, and there's 400 right there. Control my airspeed with throttle. Castillo 7 Kilo Pop is about 3 miles south on the VOR-A approach. Castillo, I'll circle to land. Crashing airplane sounds on the music. That's just delightful. So I don't know if you can see the airport is out there. I'll try and give you a view that gets the approach. It's also over the top. Once again, would really like me to have my gear down right now. 2,600 feet, or 1,600 feet. 1,400 is where I'm going. 1,430 is the minimums. So there's the VOR-A. Takes us right to the airport. You can see it over the nose there. There's the airport. We'll take this around to a circle to land.
500.
This is why I practice the low circuits. Because 1430 being the minimums, I can come down to minimums on the VOR-A approach and then circle the land, and it's familiar kind of a look and feel to it for me. All right, 100 knots, gears down, 2 notches of flaps. Tail flaps are closed. Prop and mixture are in. Gears down, got a green light, got a wheel. 45 degrees. 2 notches of flaps. 75 knots. Continue sweep to final. Overturn a little for a following tailwind. Downwind base. The tailwind for base, not the tailwind for landing. Check again, gear down, throttle, 20 degrees. On target, we're going to be bumpy close to the ground. Get my feet up on the brakes, 75 knots. Oh, there's that little bit of shear behind the houses. Well, yes. Apologize for the tow bar on the headset in the back seat. That's what's doing that. Okay, turn my fuel off about here. And wait for the system to be pulled dry. Thanks for riding with me today.